Hi, my name is Kelly Jordan, and this is my multimedia presentation about the data action model. The subject area that I'm going to be talking about is in math for 4th grade students who are 9 and 10 years old. The data that I presented during our first data chat meeting is my students' PARCC math scores in the first column. After that, the next column shows their report card grade in math at the 4th marking period in 3rd grade. And then the third column is their MAP-M scores. And then the last column shows the testing percentile about the MAP scores. Another piece of data that I showed was a math progress check that students took. Starting all the way on the left, it shows the percentage of how they did. Next shows out of the 11 questions, how many they got right. And then broken down in the next few columns is the questions, and the green represents if they got them right, the red represents if they got them wrong, and the orange color shows if they got part of the question correct. So from looking at that data, my team and I came up with an explanatory question, which was, does this particular data truly reflect these particular students' abilities? From there, we talked about this in our artifact tracking sheet, which was my MAP-M scores, and we labeled this as both a learning gap and an instructional gap because students were lacking in some math concepts, but also because there's testing limits, because I do have one ESOL student who is unable to read the test questions. I want not to be able to provide accommodations for this student, which shows fault in the instruction. We labeled it as a score of a 3 and a 2. Next, after that, we formed a SMART goal in our next data meeting, which our goal is students will be able to solve an overall grade level math task that will require them to respond to defend their work to explain their reasoning 3 out of 5 times by the end of the first marking period. During our data chat, we noticed that students have a hard time explaining their work, which is something that we wanted to work on. Next, this is the data action model that we came up with. The instructional tactic that I was going to show my group was praise, question, suggestion. There was another practicing teacher, so we divided up which artifact or tactic would be shown each data meeting. So this is one that I did, and I will show you data in the next following slides about the praise, question, suggestion activity that I did. The next one was an exit ticket, which is what I suggested to my group. That would be done twice a week. The next one was a science talk, which we turned into a math talk. And then the last one was a jigsaw, which was an activity that I also presented data to my group. So this was an exit card that was given, but it was used for the praise, question, suggestion. So what my students had to do is they had to look at the subtraction problem down below, and before even solving the equation, they had to discuss in which any place value patterns they would need to decompose and how many digits will be in the difference. So what I had students do is just answer the question, solve. So here's one student sample's work, another student sample's work, another, and then here's the praise, question, suggestion. So as you could have seen in some of the examples that I provided, that one student got a B and the other two got a D because they did not answer it correctly. So after working with a partner, they read each other's exit cards and they gave them praise about something that they did well. They also questioned something that they did. So the one on the right, it says, what do you mean by using multiplication, which is what one of the students talked about. And then they gave a suggestion of how they could improve their exit card. So looking at the left, the student suggested that you could add or include how you got the answer just to extend their thinking a little bit. And then on the right, you can see that this student suggested you could add what digit you need to what digit you need to decompose and how you would decompose. And the next set of praise question suggestion worksheets is just giving more feedback for the students. So I really enjoyed using this activity because it got students thinking about how to work collaboratively by providing feedback and also criticism. And I also noticed in student responses as we moved forward that they were more conscious of what the question was asking, so that they included more of their answer in a detailed way, which tailors to our SMART goal. Next, this is the data from the jigsaw. So what I had students do is they worked in table groups and they each took turns solving different parts of the question. So that's why you'll see different colors that represents different students doing the question. And if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that group 2 was the only group that got this question wrong. But through collaboration and talking with each other, they were able to finally see that the mistakes that they made and how to get the correct answer. And then this was just the last group, their data for the jigsaw. And again, I thought that this was also a great instructional tactic because students were able to work together. They were able to talk about their work verbally. And just some strengths and growth for myself. For strength, I thought that I was able to follow the plans we put into place pretty well. And I was also strong about staying organized. I actually was I came up with an idea to start Google Docs for our data chats, which really helped us be able to record all the information in one place so we could all go back to these Google Docs. And then for growth, I want to continue to collect data and plan for student success this way. Thank you.